Good morning and a warm welcome to all of you. It is rightly said that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable to change. These words ring so true for the current scenario. COVID-19, once in a century pandemic, has thrown up unprecedented challenge to our educational system. Our students got confined to their house. It limited their interaction with their peers, adding anxiety level every day in their lives. So, in order to assist our parents and their wards in their next step of educational journey, I, Ms. Jayakirti Sinha, is delighted to offer you all the most hospitable welcome to this virtual orientation program. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our authorities to this orientation session, and our dear principal ma'am will be briefing you all on that special scheme of assessment. Our school, New Horizon Public School, which has which has become one of the leading institutions of Navi Mumbai due to its innovativeness and dynamism and its persistence for seeking and adopting innovative method to improve the quality of higher education. And the credit for our success goes to our beloved principal ma'am, Mona Lisa Basu, who is working tirelessly towards the development of our school. So I humbly invite our principal ma'am to guide you about the special scheme of assessment 2021 and 22.
Good morning, dear parents, students, teachers. Welcome to this orientation program. On the eve of Independence Day, I want to wish you all in advance Happy Independence Day. Coming down to this academic year, as you all know, that the past academic year, because of COVID-19, we all have gone online and on virtual mode. In order to tide over such adverse conditions and keeping future scenarios in mind, the board has issued certain guidelines and given a framework to all its stakeholders through its circular dated 5th of July 2021, through which it has informed how to go about this current academic year of 2021-22. Please keep in mind, board has certain responsibility towards assessing the core competencies of the students and carrying out its responsibility of administering a result which is credible and authentic. So let's come to the circular which states few things. Special Scheme of Assessment 2021-22. It talks about basic things. The academic session is to be divided into 2 terms with approximately 50% syllabus in each term. The syllabus for the board examination 2021-22 would be rationalized. And I'm sure you are aware of these 2 points because I'm sure your teachers must have informed you about the rationalized syllabus and the further guidelines since we are going to have our exam soon. Also, efforts are made to make internal assessments, practicals, project work more credible and valid as per the guidelines and the moderation policy. Please remember this line about moderation policy. Coming to the transaction of curriculum, please pay attention to this slide. The schools will continue teaching in distance mode till the authorities or the local authorities permit in-person mode of teaching in schools. Class 9th and 10th internal assessment term 1, term 2 would include 3 periodic tests, student enrichment, portfolio and practical work, listening, speaking, activities, etc. Here, I would like to tell you one thing, your half yearly is a kind of periodic test. So I would ask all the students to take it very seriously and work hard to do your best in your forthcoming half yearly examinations. Also, guidelines for internal assessments for all the subjects will be released along with the rationalized term-wise syllabus for the session 21-22. The board has already taken care of that. Now, the board on its part will also provide additional resources like sample assessments, question banks, conduct teacher training, and more reliable and valid internal assessments. Now, coming to the next slide, which talks about the assessment format, which is divided into term 1 and term 2. All of you need to pay a lot of attention to this particular slide, in which we will talk about the mode of transaction and the format of the assessment. As you all know, our term 1 will end by September. So your board examination for term 1 will be conducted on the basis of rationalized syllabus in the month of November or December. The time span, the duration is given 4 to 8 weeks. The format would be only MCQs, which can be case-based, reasoning, and analytical. Venue can be your school or it can be your home. The details, the further details will be given by the board. Please pay attention and listen attentively. The mode would be that the question paper will be sent by the board to the school. The duration would be around 90 minutes or 1.5 hours for your MCQs, and the assessment type will be most probably offline in your school, but in case of adverse condition, you might be able to take it from home online. But there are conditions to it for which we will discuss later. Now, who will supervise if the examinations are conducted in school? The center head would be an external. Nobody from our school would be the center head, and there would be observers who will come and observe how we are conducting the term 1 MCQ based board examination. And the marks allotted would contribute to your final assessment and your final score. So please be very careful in taking your assessments and take all the assessments which you are doing in class very seriously, dear students. For term 2, at the end of term 2, your assessment will be conducted in the month of March and April 2022. And it will be mostly a written paper where it will be long and short answers. There will be open-ended answers and case-based answers will be written. And your venue might be your school or any center which will be decided by the board. The question paper set will be sent by the board to the examination center wherever you are taking the examination. The time duration will be 120 minutes or 2 hours. It will be offline, but in adverse condition, it may be online also. Now, the supervision will be again external and your marks will contribute to the final score. Now, let us go to the next slide, which talks about different kinds of situations which may or may not happen. The board has given certain guidelines, or it has, through its circular, which is circular number 51 dated 5th July 2021, it is informed of the various situations and what can be the outcome and how to go about in case certain situation persists. So let's come to case A. In case the situation of the pandemic improves and students are able to come to schools or centers for taking the examination, the board would conduct term 1 and term 2 examinations at schools and centers, and the theory marks will be distributed equally between the two examinations. Please keep in mind, if you are able to take both the examinations at the end of term 1 and term 2 in school, this will give more credibility to your assessment and therefore it will be distributed equally. Now let's come to case B. In case the situation of the pandemic forces complete closure of the schools during the term 1 end examination, which will be conducted in November or December, but term 2 exams are held in schools or centers. In that case, the term 1 MCQ based examinations would be done by students either online or offline from home. And in this case, the weightage of this examination for the final score would be reduced, and weightage of term 2 exams will be increased for declaration of the final result. So keep in mind, any examinations which you do in school or any other center will have more value. Coming to the next case, in which the situation of the pandemic forces complete closure of schools during the March-April 2022, but term 1 examination or the MCQ examinations you are able to take, which will be held in schools or centers. In that case, the results would be based on the performance of the students in term 1 MCQ based examinations and the internal assessments. And the weightage of marks of term 1 examination conducted by the board will be increased to provide year-end results of the students. Now let us come to case 4. In case the situation of the pandemic forces complete closure of schools and the board conducted term 1 and term 2 exams are taken by you all from home in the session 21-22. This is in extreme case where you are not able to come to school in any case because of the situation, and you take the examination from home. Then the results would be computed on the basis of internal assessment, practical, project work, and the theory marks of term 1 and term 2 exams taken by you from home in class 10. And it is subject to moderation or other measures to ensure validity and reliability of the assessment. Dear students, parents, please pay attention to this line. In case this exam is conducted or taken by students from home, then the result will be moderated or it will be subjected to other measures by the policy which will be later given by the board. So you must remember the moderation will happen. The board is trying its best that the students come to school and they give the examinations so that it has more value and more credibility. So, dear students, please ensure that you work very hard for all your tests, internal tests, your projects, or any other examination for which you will appear. Keep in mind certain points which we are going to show in the next slide. The assessment schedule of our school. We have had periodic test 1 in the month of June, which is already done. We will have half-yearly examination, which is a periodic test 2 in the month of September. The third periodic test will be conducted in the first week of October. Your revision test for board examination again would be conducted in the last week of October. Term 1 board examination will be conducted in November or December. Again, revision test will continue for your term 2 board examination in the month of Jan and Feb. Your final board examination or term 2 board examination will be conducted in the month of March or April 2022, the dates of which we will intimate you from time to time. This is basically the assessment schedule which we have planned for you. So remember certain things, dear students, which are points to remember, and please see that you remember them and follow them on the dotted line. In the next slide, we will see certain things which will help you to do well in your academic year. Please remember your NCERT book is your Bible. All the subjects NCERT book, you have to go through it very, very well. This book cannot be ignored. I'm saying again, this book cannot be ignored. You may have resource book or any other help book, but do not forget this book. Read each and every line of your textbook and prepare thoroughly. Every line should be understood well. Do not miss even the pictures that are given in your NCERT book, because a lot of questions will be picture based where you have to analyze and give or arrive at the correct answers. Next is be regular with your attendance. Do not miss any class and avoid skipping periods during your daily class. It should not happen. There are periods you want to skip because you do not want to see that you are attentive and you attend all the given periods in a day, come what may. Submit all your projects on time. Time is the key, dear students, because once the submission date goes away, teachers make a mental note that yes, this child is may or may not be regular, he or she is not organized. Now, please remember, when we ask you to submit in the given deadline, teachers are helping you to get yourself organized. Time management is very, very crucial over here. Even you need to organize your notes, your portfolio, and these skills you will never, nobody will teach you ever. Only you will learn these things in your school. So please acquire these skills, dear students, as they are informing you. Start planning and organize all these notes, your portfolio in a neat and a tidy manner. Submit, complete all your notes and file them in an organized manner. Maintain your portfolio well and in a very neat and tidy way. Most important thing, dear students, is do not leave outstation without informing your grade teacher. And starting from October, you will know one will leave outstation because we may get the admit cards, we may get the hall tickets, or there would be certain verification carried out by the board for which we will need your presence. So do not go out anywhere without informing or asking permission from the teachers. Since your boards are approaching soon, so the board will give out quick information and we have to inform you, and this will be happening in a very short period of time. So it is my request to you, do not go out station as in the timeline which I have given it to you. Next most important thing is all the answer sheets of assessments and your portfolio must be preserved well and it has to be submitted in the school. We will give you a detailed instruction as to what and when you have to submit it to the school. In the end, I would like to say that children, you all need to work hard. Because of the adverse conditions we are in, I would say we make the most of it because tough times don't last. It is the tough people who do. Dr. Abdul Kalam has rightly said that if you wish to shine like the sun, you must be ready to burn like it first. So I end and I want all my students to work hard. Not only work smart, without working hard, you can't work smart. Thank you, children. Thank you, parents. Thank you, teachers. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable tips and guidance. I'm sure that your guidance on this issue will clear all the doubts our parents may have about their board examination this year and next year. Now, internal assessment, process in which the teacher and the school judge the student performance throughout the year. It's a kind of a continuous assessment, which is very much in line with NEP. Now, parents, in order to provide you the complete picture of your ward's capabilities over a period of year, apart from the 2 year-end assessment, I repeat, apart from 2 year-end assessment, which will be 40 marks each, school will also conduct internal assessment, and the total mark for that will be 20. Now, the internal assessment will be divided into 4 parts. You can see it on the slide. PT is for periodic test, MA is for multiple assessment, then you have portfolio and subject enrichment. Now here the theory, it's been divided into 40 marks each for term 1 and term 2. So I will talk about periodic test first. Now, periodic test will be for 5 marks. We'll have 3 periodic tests, which will include half-yearly examination too. One is conducted already in the month of June. The next one is due in the month of September. And third one will be conducted in the month of October. Now, parents, please note that average of best 2 will be taken for final submission of marks. Now, the second part of internal assessment is about multiple assessment, which will be conducted once in each term for all the subjects. Here, students will be assessed through diverse tools and techniques. For example, for our languages, English, Hindi, and Marathi, our students will be judged on the basis of listening, writing, speaking skills. For English, our teachers will be assessing them with the tools like jam session and slogan writing. For Hindi, Marathi, and Sanskrit, will have quizzes and mind map. Similarly, for mathematics, we'll have mental ability test and quizzes. For science, we'll have diagram, journals, and case study. For social science, we'll be using tools like map test, MCQ, and data interpretation. Now, the third part of internal assessment, which is portfolio. Now, here a student will get a chance to show their documentation skill. It's not a pen paper test. They'll have to document their work, which they have done over a period of year, like their skill sheet, notes, worksheet, everything they need to document it. All the evidences of the test, periodic test and multiple assessment, their achievements, everything needs to be documented in a neat and tidy way in a file, and it needs to be submitted to the teacher as and when they are asked. Now, the fourth part of internal assessment is about subject enrichment, right? Now, here we will assign projects which will be based on art integration. Now, this part is aimed at enrichment of their knowledge about their subjects. So basically, subject enrichment, here integration of art will be our main focus. It will also be there for 5 marks. Now, dear parents, a word of caution for you all. Internal assessment and in-house examination ended up becoming the most crucial element last year for the evaluation of 2021 board exams. So it will be crucial this year as well if either of the 2-term exams cannot be held due to the rise of the cases. So you must guide your child accordingly and see to it that they don't miss out any of these exams and take it seriously. Next slide, please, on CWSM. Now, our next slide, this slide is about children with special needs. Now, these children, they face challenges in learning because they may not be able to focus in the class because of their pace of learning. It may differ from the normal students. And moreover, they also require the emotional and social skill which needs to be strengthened further. Now, CBSE is sensitive to the needs of such children, and that's why some specific exemption and concession have been given to these children. Now, what are these exemption and concession? Now, these students they have a flexibility in choosing subjects. Like they have a flexibility of opting out from the core subjects like mathematics, science, and social science, and they can opt for computer application, painting, and Hindustani music vocal instead. Now, the subject code for the following subjects are computer application, it is 165. For painting, it is 049. And for Hindustani vocal, it is 034. These students will also be given the facility of scribe and compensatory time. Now, to brief you all on other core subjects, I would like to first invite English department. The next slide on English, please. Now, parents, as you all know and you believe, you must agree with me that proficiency in English is essential to student success in both social and academic. The language of instruction is must to achieve high level of success. So to make you aware about the guidelines, on this subject, English. I will now invite Amol sir to brief you all on this subject. Over to you, Amol sir.
Good morning, all of you. I'm Amol Bansode. I'm here to orient you about English language and literature, that is subject code 184. Language, knowledge of language is the doorway to wisdom. Don't misunderstand language as English alone, because English is always a work in progress. There is no end to updating, learning, and adding to it is the global problem, whether it is scheduled or scheduled, whether it is COLOUR color or COLOR color. That is British English or American English. Which is right? I would say both is right, as long as you don't add your own addition to it. Our subject is language, and every language is a product of 4 skills. But online schooling, there are new skills acquired. You can see what are these skills. Okay, jokes apart. When we talk about language, language is product of 4 skills, major skills, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. That is LSRW. Let us throw light on each skill in detail. First, we come to listening. Listening, it is different from hearing. What is difference? Here, every sound that falls on your ear is what you hear. But listening differs from hearing. Listening is attentive hearing. When you pay attention to someone, you can see on the left hand side, what you listen all gets filtered. Okay, hearing is not filtered at all. So listening is very important. But very often what happens is most of us listen half, understand only a quarter, and we speak double. Unfortunately, that is not what it should be. We all remember how we learned as we were babies, or how children learn as they are babies. They imitate what their mothers say. So the first learning happens through listening. That is, we repeat after what our mother has said. Now, what to listen to? How, why to listen and what to listen? Listen so that you are able to speak better. What to listen to? Listen to news. Every day you will be updated with the news. Also, you can watch films with the subtitles. So you are listening, reading at the same time, getting the right kind of pronunciation. Also listening to talk shows, how people express themselves, how people express their opinion. You will be able to get better and better. Remember, a good listener is a better speaker. Next, we talk about speaking. Speaking is everyday everyday activity. We have to do speaking everywhere that we go, be it individual one-to-one speaking or public speaking. You know, human brain it starts working the moment we are born. But unfortunately, most of you must have experienced this, when it stops working the moment you stand up to speak. So how to speak? We have to speak, but to speak, we have to listen. Again, where can you get this practice of speaking? Every day. The problem is we don't speak up. We have activities every day like discussing amongst ourselves. When you can discuss back home with your parents, parents can encourage such kind of discussions at home. Public speaking can be encouraged by starting with birthday parties at home. When you have birthday parties, ask children to give instructions. Giving instructions, or discussing certain things, conveying a message to the crowd. This is how you will develop confidence. And we cannot forget speaking in the class, the best way to develop your confidence. This is how you will develop your confidence in speaking. Now let us throw light on the other skills. Reading. Reading is not just a skill. I think it should be a habit. A habit which is sadly forgotten now. Because if you can see on the screen, most of the fun is, this is much fun, it is on the mobile phone. Often time is spent on mobile phone, surfing or on social media. Whereas the joy of reading is sadly forgotten. We don't encourage mobiles Unfortunately, we have to because of the pandemic, but reading cannot be substituted by any other thing. Reading is one such skill which influences all the other skills, be it listening, speaking, reading, or writing. In Marathi, it is said, Vachal tar vachal. Vachal means read. If you read, you will survive, you will be secure, or else you'll be eliminated soon. CBSE has come up with MCQs. Now, when it was initially introduced, everybody felt MCQ easy. Okay, yes, it is easy, provided you read well. We have to read. Children have to read. They have to understand, comprehend, and analyze and apply. And that is how you have to choose make the right choice. So reading becomes inevitable. What happens with our kids is because they are not habitual to reading, they jump to conclusion. They read a little and they understand that this is the answer. No, they have to analyze, because there are questions like what is not true, what is not applicable, what we cannot say, because all the other things are said and one is which we cannot say. So here we have to analyze and answer. Again, I'll say reading influence all the other skills, and remember, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Next, we look at the writing skills. Writing skills, drafting is a big problem, even while sending a small text on WhatsApp, because your words can be misunderstood. You are not conveying it the way you want to. So you have to convey maximum using minimum words. And that is where writing skills come in. CBSE has come up with writing skills as situational based writing, analytical writing. There again, you have to deduce what you come to know, what you see, whatever inputs you get, and you have to produce and explain what is there in little words, but creating a maximum impact. Now, how to write? What to write? Again, as I told you, if you encourage reading, you'll be able to write better. So basically, it all goes back to reading. Reading comics, short stories will help. And writing, start with diary writing. Diary writing, everyday writing, there is no one to check what you are writing. But the moment you start writing small things, you will be able to write better. So the art of conveying maximum can happen like this. Writing a note, writing a message is very helpful. Now we'll come to literature. Here are the two books that are prescribed by CBSE for literature. The book First Flight, that contains 11 chapters and 11 poems, and the book Footprints Without Feet, which has 10 stories. Now, what does the English paper contain? Here is it. It contains reading, that is discursive passage, and a factual passage. Again, MCQs, where you have to read, understand, infer, and analyze and interpret and answer. Writing skills, you can see, has letter writing in the first term, letter to editor, letter of complaint, both official and business. Whereas in term 2, you have a situation based letter of order or inquiry. And also we have analytical paragraph writing, which has the inputs of outlines, charts, maps, reports, etc. Grammar, whatever grammar is learned throughout the schooling is asked, because here you are not asked to identify, that is the structural grammar, no identification of tense, no identification of the kinds of verb, but how it is used, that is the functional grammar which is asked for in CBSE. Now let's go to literature. Here are the list of lessons which are there for term 1 and term 2 in literature. As I told you, there are 22 units, that is 11 chapters and 11 poems in First Flight. In the first term, you will be asked, the children have to study 6 chapters from First Flight and 4 poems from First Flight. From Footprints Without Feet, they have to study 3 lesson stories. Okay. Whereas in the second term, 4 chapters from First Flight, 3 poems from First Flight, and 4 stories from Footprints Without Feet. I like to tell you that 1 chapter from First Flight and 4 poems are deleted, and from the other book, that is Footprints Without Feet, 3 stories are deleted. Next, we come to the mark distribution. Here is the mark distribution. 10 marks of reading, that is 5 mark 2 passages. Writing and grammar, 5 marks of writing and 5 marks of grammar, and 20 marks of literature, which contains MCQ as well as subjective questions. Internal assessment, that comes to 40. Internal assessment will be for 10 marks. That comes to total 50 for term 1 and 50 for term 2. Toward the end, I would like to say, if you want to master English, you have to get involved, you have to practice, and you have to prepare. Because failing to prepare is preparing to fail. All the best. Thank you. That's all from my side. All the best. Keep reading, keep preparing. Now I'd like to call upon Miss Reshma Kadam to brief you about Hindi.
जब हौसला बना लिया ऊंची उड़ान का, जब हौसला बना लिया ऊंची उड़ान का, फिर देखना फिजूल है कद आसमान का। उपस्थित अभिभावकों का एवं विद्यार्थियों का मैं रेशमा कदम तहे दिल से इस अभिविन्यास कार्यक्रम में स्वागत करती हूँ। मैं आपको हिंदी विषय से परिचित कराना चाहूंगी। हिंदी विषय का कोड है 085 अर्थात 085, जिसके अंतर्गत सत्र 1 में बाह्य मूल्यांकन 2 अपठित गद्यांश होंगे 10 अंकों के, व्याकरण 16 अंकों का होगा, पाठ्य पुस्तक 14 अंक के प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। आंतरिक मूल्यांकन के अंतर्गत सामयिक आकलन, पीरियोडिक टेस्ट, बहुविध आकलन, मल्टीपल असेसमेंट, पोर्टफोलियो, श्रवण एवं वाचन का उल्लेख किया गया है। कुल मिलाकर सत्र 1 में 50 अंक के प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, ये सारे बहुविकल्पी प्रश्न होंगे। अब मैं सत्र 2 से अवगत कराना चाहूंगी आप सभी को। बाह्य मूल्यांकन के अंतर्गत पाठ्य पुस्तक स्पर्श 8 अंकों से प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। पूरक पाठ्य पुस्तक संचयन से 6 अंकों के प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। रचनात्मक लेखन 26 अंकों का होगा। सत्र 2 के अंतर्गत आंतरिक मूल्यांकन 10 अंकों का होगा, जिसमें सामयिक आकलन होगा, बहुविध आकलन, पोर्टफोलियो, श्रवण एवं वाचन होगा। कुल मिला के इसके भी 50 अंक होंगे। अब मैं आपको विस्तार से सत्र 1 से आपको अवगत कराना चाहूंगी। सत्र 1 में गद्य स्पर्श भाग में से होंगे 3 पाठ, बड़े भाई साहब, ततारा वामीरो कथा, अब कहाँ दूसरे के दुख से दुखी होने वाले। गद्य संचयन में से कोई भी पाठ सत्र 1 अर्थात टर्म 1 में नहीं है। पद्य विभाग कबीर की साखी एवं मीरा के पद। व्याकरण के अंतर्गत पदबंध, रचना के आधार पर वाक्य रूपांतरण, समास एवं मुहावरे होंगे। अपठित बोध 2 अपठित गद्यांश, 4 अपठित गद्यांशों में से कोई 2 गद्यांश करने होंगे। रचनात्मक लेखन टर्म 1 अर्थात सत्र 1 में नहीं है। टर्म 2 की ओर बढ़ते हैं, सत्र 2, जिसके अंतर्गत गद्य स्पर्श किताब में से झेन की देन और कारतूस पाठ का समावेश किया गया है। संचयन में से हरिहर काका, सपनों के से दिन, टोपी शुक्ला का समावेश किया गया है। सत्र 2 में व्याकरण नहीं है। सत्र 2 में अपठित बोध भी नहीं है। सत्र 2 में रचनात्मक लेखन के अंतर्गत अनुच्छेद लेखन 6 अंकों का, औपचारिक पत्र 5 अंकों का, सूचना लेखन 2.5 अंक के 2 सूचनाएं लिखनी होंगी। विज्ञापन लेखन 2.5 अंकों के 2 विज्ञापन लिखने होंगे। लघु कथा लेखन 5 अंकों का होगा। अब मैं वेटेज ऑफ मार्क्स की ओर बढ़ती हूँ। सत्र 1 अपठित गद्यांश, 4 अपठित गद्यांशों में से कोई 2 गद्यांश करने होंगे। कुल मिला के 10 अंक होंगे। ये बहुविकल्पी होंगे। व्याकरण के अंतर्गत पदबंध 4 अंकों का, रचना के आधार पर वाक्य रूपांतरण 4 अंकों का, समास 4 अंकों का, मुहावरे 4 अंकों के होंगे। पाठ्य पुस्तक स्पर्श भाग 2 से काव्य खंड से भी 4 बहुविकल्पी प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। गद्य खंड से पठित गद्यांश के आधार पर बहुविकल्पी प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे। आंतरिक मूल्यांकन सामयिक आकलन 2.5 अंकों का, बहुविध आकलन 2.5 अंकों का, पोर्टफोलियो 2.5 अंकों का, श्रवण एवं वाचन 2.5 अंकों का, कुल मिला के 10 अंकों का, और सत्र 1 कुल मिला के जो है हमारा 50 अंकों का होगा। सत्र 2 की ओर बढ़ते हैं हम। द्वितीय सत्र, जिसमें पाठ्य पुस्तक स्पर्श से निर्धारित पाठों के आधार पर प्रश्न 25 से 30 शब्दों वाले प्रश्न 2 पूछे जाएंगे, कुल मिला के 4 अंक होंगे। स्पर्श से निर्धारित पाठों के आधार पर 60 से 70 शब्दों वाले प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे, जिसके कुल मिलाकर 4 अंक होंगे। संचयन पूरक पुस्तिका, संचयन भाग 2 में से 3 में से 2 प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे, जिनका उत्तर 40 से 50 शब्दों में विद्यार्थियों को देना है, कुल मिलाकर जिसके 6 अंक होंगे। रचनात्मक लेखन, अनुच्छेद लेखन, संकेत बिंदु दिए जाएंगे, उसके आधार पर अनुच्छेद लेखन होगा 6 अंकों का। औपचारिक पत्र होगा 5 अंकों का। व्यवहारिक जीवन से संबंधित विषयों पर आधारित 2 सूचनाएं लिखनी होंगी, 2.5 अंकों की 5 टोटल। विज्ञापन 2 करने होंगे, 2.5 अंकों के 2 करने होंगे, कुल मिला के 5 अंक। और लघु कथा लेखन 5 अंकों का होगा। आंतरिक मूल्यांकन के अंतर्गत सामयिक आकलन, बहुविध आकलन, पोर्टफोलियो, श्रवण एवं वाचन 10 अंकों का होगा। मैं कुछ विद्यार्थियों को निर्देश देना चाहूंगी ताकि आप अच्छे अंकों से अच्छे अंक प्राप्त कर सकें। सत्र 1, क्योंकि ये बहुविकल्पी प्रश्न पूछे जाएंगे, इसीलिए सभी प्रश्नों को ध्यान से पढ़कर सही विकल्प का चयन करना आवश्यक है। व्याकरण के सारे नियमों का गहन अध्ययन करना अनिवार्य है। जितने उदाहरण आप हल करेंगे उतना ही आपका आत्मविश्वास बढ़ेगा और उतना ही वो आपके लिए लाभप्रद सिद्ध होगा। सत्र 2 टर्म 2, उत्तर पुस्तिका सुव्यवस्थित, आकर्षित और वाचनीय होनी चाहिए। उत्तर पुस्तिका में सुचारू रूप से मार्जिन खींचना अनिवार्य है। हर एक रचनात्मक लेखन की शुरुआत नए पृष्ठ से अर्थात नए पेज से न्यू पेज पर करनी जरूरी है। मुख्य मुद्दों को रेखांकित करना भी आवश्यक है। नियमित रूप से पाठ्य पुस्तक का अध्ययन अनिवार्य है। अंत में मैं कहना चाहूंगी, परिश्रम करो। तुमने जो सपने देखे हैं उनको हासिल करने की कोशिश करो। हार न मानकर वर्तमान में अपनी पूरी लगन से परिश्रम करके भविष्य में एक सफल व्यक्ति बनो। धन्यवाद। अब मैं चंदा मैम को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी।
धन्यवाद रेश्मा मॅम। ज्ञानेश्वरांनी लिहिली ज्ञानेश्वरी, तुकोबांनी रचली गाथा, समृद्ध संपन्न झाली माझी मराठी भाषा। सुप्रभात, मी चंदावटे आपणास मराठी अभ्यासक्रम आणि प्रश्नपत्रिका प्रारूप याबद्दल सांगणार आहे। मराठी विषयाचा कोड आहे 009। यावर्षी अभ्यासक्रम 2 भागात विभाजित केला गेला आहे, प्रथम सत्र परीक्षा आणि द्वितीय सत्र अशा पद्धतीने 2 भागात विभाजित केला आहे। त्यामध्ये प्रश्नपत्रिका ही एकूण प्रत्येकी 40 गुणांना विचारली जाईल। आपण प्रथम सत्र अभ्यासक्रमाकडे वळूया। प्रथम सत्र अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये गद्य विभागात शाल, उपास, चुडीवाला, पद्य विभाग संतवाणी, अंकिला मी दास तुझा, 2 दिवस, स्थूल वाचन, मोठे होत असलेल्या मुलांनो, व्याकरण, शब्दांच्या जाती, काळ, वाक्याचे प्रकार, समास, लिंग, वचन, समानार्थी व विरुद्धार्थी शब्द अशा प्रकारचा अभ्यासक्रम असेल। या अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये रचनात्मक लेखन समाविष्ट केलं गेलं नाही। हे रचनात्मक लेखन जे आहे ते अंतर्गत मूल्यमापनामध्ये समाविष्ट केलं आहे। आपण प्रश्नपत्रिका प्रारूप बघूया। यामध्ये प्रश्नपत्रिका ही एकूण गुण 40 गुणांना असेल आणि यामध्ये बहुपर्यायी म्हणजे एमसीक्यू टाइप क्वेश्चन्स तुम्हाला विचारले जातील। यासाठी पाठाचं, कवितेचं वाचन करणं फार गरजेचं आहे आणि उत्तर लिहिताना व्यवस्थित पर्याय निवडून उत्तर लिहा। विचारपूर्वक प्रश्नपत्रिका सोडवा। यामध्ये यापटीत गद्य गुण 6, पाठ्यपुस्तक एकूण गुण 20, गद्य विभाग गुण 10, पद्य विभाग गुण 7, स्थूल वाचन गुण 3, व्याकरण गुण 14 अशा प्रकारे विचारलं गेलं आहे। त्यानंतर द्वितीय सत्राचा अभ्यासक्रम आपण बघूया। द्वितीय सत्र अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये गद्य, ऊर्जा शक्तीचा जागर, रंग साहित्याचे, खरा नागरिक, पद्य, औक्षण, स्वप्न करू साकार, स्थूल वाचन, व्युत्पत्ती कोश, व्याकरण, शब्दांच्या जाती, काळ, वाक्याचे प्रकार, समास, लिंग, वचन, समानार्थी व विरुद्धार्थी शब्द आणि रचनात्मक लेखनामध्ये पत्रलेखनाचा समावेश केला गेला आहे. 5 मार्काला तुम्हाला पत्रलेखन विचारलं जाईल. यामध्ये 2 प्रकार समाविष्ट केले आहेत, तक्रार पत्र आणि मागणी पत्र. आणि बाकी रचनात्मक लेखन जे आहे, निबंध लेखन, कथा लेखन याचा अंतर्गत मूल्यमापनामध्ये समावेश केला आहे. प्रश्नपत्रिका आपण बघूया. प्रश्नपत्रिका कशी असेल? एकूण 40 गुणांना प्रश्नपत्रिका असेल. यामध्ये दीर्घोत्तरी आणि लघुत्तरी दोन्ही प्रश्न विचारले जातील. दीर्घोत्तरी प्रश्नांसाठी संदर्भ आवश्यक आहे. कवितेमध्ये, पाठामध्ये दोन्ही याच्यामध्ये संदर्भ लिहिणं गरजेचं आहे. संदर्भ हे 1 गुणासाठी तुम्हाला विचारला जाईल. गुण विभागणी बघूया. पत्रलेखन गुण 6, अपठित गद्य, लघुत्तरी व दीर्घोत्तरी अशा प्रकारचे प्रश्न असतील. गुण 4. पाठ्यपुस्तकाला एकूण गुण 20 दिले गेले आहेत. गद्य विभाग गुण 10, पद्य विभाग गुण 7, स्थूल वाचन गुण 3 आणि व्याकरणाला 10 गुण दिले गेले आहे. मी काही मार्गदर्शन करू इच्छिते. मराठी भाषा उत्तम येण्यासाठी वाचन कौशल्य विकसित करणं फार गरजेचं आहे आणि त्यासाठी तुम्ही वेगवेगळ्या लेखकांच्या पुस्तकं वाचू शकता, वर्तमानपत्र वाचू शकता आणि त्यातून आपली मराठी भाषा प्रगत करू शकता. त्यासाठी आणि शुद्ध लेखनाचा सराव देखील तुम्हाला करणं गरजेचं आहे. अपठित गद्यांशासाठी जास्तीत जास्त सराव करावा. रचनात्मक लेखन, पत्रलेखनाचा नियमानुसार सराव केला पाहिजे. प्रत्येक नियम दिलेले आहेत. प्रत्येक टॉपिक तुम्हाला समजावून सांगितला, त्यानुसार अभ्यास करा. शुद्ध लेखनाचा सराव करणं इथे फार महत्वाचं आहे. व्याकरणासाठी नियम लक्षात ठेवा. नियमानुसार व्याकरणाची उदाहरणं सोडवा. जास्तीत जास्त उदाहरणं सोडवा. व्याकरणाचे नियम जर लक्षात ठेवले तर तुम्हाला उदाहरणं सोडवणं हे कठीण जाणार नाही. प्रश्नोत्तरांसाठी लेखन सराव करणं फार गरजेचं आहे. उत्तर पाठांतर करू नका, ते स्वशब्दात लिहिण्याचा तुम्ही प्रयत्न करा, म्हणजे तुमची प्रश्नपत्रिका ही उत्तम प्रकारे सोडवल्या जाऊ शकेल. शेवटी मी हेच सांगू इच्छिते की कोणतेही कार्य हे अडथळ्याशिवाय पार पडत नाही. शेवटपर्यंत जे प्रयत्न करीत राहतात त्यांनाच यश प्राप्त होते. म्हणूनच प्रयत्न करीत राहा. धन्यवाद. यानंतर मी संस्कृत विषयासंबंधी माहिती देण्यासाठी माधवी मॅमला आमंत्रित करते.
धन्यवाद चंदा मैम. सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः, सुप्रभात. गिरवाण भारत देवताओं की भाषा अर्थात संस्कृत भाषा के प्रश्न पत्र प्रारूप के बारे में अधिक जानकारी लेते हैं. विषय है संस्कृत तथा इसका सब्जेक्ट कोड है 122. चलिए देख लेते हैं प्रथम सत्र किस तरह से विभाजित किया गया है. टर्म 1 अर्थात प्रथम सत्र. जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो कि व्याकरण और पठितावबोधनम यानी टेक्सचुअल पार्ट और ग्रामर के ऊपर आधारित ही प्रथम सत्र पूर्णतया है, जहाँ पे संधि, समास, प्रत्यय, वाच्य परिवर्तन, समय, अव्यय पदानी, अशुद्धि संशोधनम ये सारे कार्य होंगे. संधि कार्य में व्यंजन और विसर्ग संधि है, स्वर संधि नहीं. और इसी प्रकार से अव्यय पदानी में जैसे आप स्लाइड में देख सकते हो वैसे अव्यय है जिसकी शुरुआत हम कक्षा 5वीं से कर चुकी है और बच्चे को इसके आंसर्स बहुत अच्छी तरह से आते हैं. इनकी प्रैक्टिस बहुत अच्छी तरह से की गई है. आगे हम देख लेते हैं पठित अवबोधनम अर्थात टेक्सचुअल पार्ट. यहाँ पे टेक्सचुअल पार्ट में हर साल जैसे पूछा जाता है वैसे गद्यांश, पद्यांश, नाट्यांश नहीं पूछा जाएगा. यहाँ पे कुछ प्रश्नों का निर्माण, ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन आएगा, सेंटेंस दिया जाएगा, प्रश्न के जिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन का फ्रेमिंग करना है उसको अंडरलाइन किया जाएगा. उस प्रश्न को ध्यान से पढ़ के 3 ऑब्जेक्टिव्स दिए जाएंगे, उसमें से सही ऑब्जेक्टिव का चयन करके पूर्ण प्रश्न निर्माण करना है. प्रश्न निर्माण के बाद फुल सेंटेंस में आंसर लेने के बाद क्वेश्चन मार्क लिखना आवश्यक है. उसके बाद है प्रसंगानुकाल समुचितम शब्दार्थ चयन, अर्थात यहाँ पे कुछ सेंटेंसेस दिए जाएंगे, उनको अंडरलाइन किया जाएगा एक पर्टिकुलर वर्ड. कभी कभी होता क्या है, किसी भी भाषा को देखिए, संस्कृत, मराठी, हिंदी, इंग्लिश, बहुत सारी भाषाओं में एक ही शब्द के दो या दो से अधिक मतलब होते हैं। फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, यदि हम लोग अर्थ ये शब्द ले लें, तो अर्थ शब्द के संस्कृत भाषा में ही बहुत सारे मीनिंग है। उसमें से एक मीनिंग आप सभी जानते हो, अर्थ यानी शब्दार्थ मीनिंग, और दूसरा अर्थ यानी पैसा, वेल्थ। नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट सेंटेंस, जो सेंटेंस दिया गया है, उचित अर्थ क्या है वो जान लेना बहुत ज्यादा आवश्यक है, और उसी सही अर्थ का चयन करना आवश्यक है। उसके बाद भाषिक कार्य जैसे कर्तृपदम की मस्ती, क्रियापदम की मस्ती, विशेषण पदम की मस्ती, ऐसे सवाल पूछे जाएंगे। बच्चों की ये जानकारी के लिए बहुत अच्छी तरह से प्रैक्टिस की गई है। इसके बावजूद मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि थोड़ा सा ध्यान सेल्फ स्टडीज में दीजिएगा, जिसकी वजह से आपको इसका आकलन और अध्ययन अच्छी तरह से हो जाएगा। चलिए देख लेते हैं कि पाठ कौन कौन से है प्रथम सत्र और द्वितीय सत्र के लिए। प्रथम सत्र के लिए जैसे आप स्लाइड में देख सकते हो, पाठ पहला, दूसरा, तीसरा पाठ जो है व्यायाम सर्वदा, यह वो स्किप कर दिया गया है, डिलीट कर दिया गया है। चौथा शिशु लालनम, और पांचवा जननी तुल्य वत्सला, ये पाठ प्रथम सत्र के लिए है। सेकेंड टर्म यानी वार्षिक परीक्षा के लिए 6, 7, 8, 9 दैट इज सुभाषितानि, सौहार्दम प्रकृतेः शोभा, विचित्रः साक्षी और सुतयः, ये 4 पाठ है। उसमें से मैं एक बात बताना चाहूंगी आपको। सुभाषितानि तथा सुतयः जो सेकेंड टर्म में पाठ है, वो पूरी तरह श्लोक के ऊपर आधारित है, और 7वां और 8वां लेसन दैट इज सौहार्दम प्रकृतेः शोभा और विचित्रः साक्षी, ये 2 पाठ जो है वो लेसन मीन्स एक कथा की तरह है। इस कथा का उपयोग जब क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर के क्वेश्चन की तरफ हम बढ़ेंगे उस वक्त बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। चलिए देखते हैं वार्षिक परीक्षा के प्रारूप के बारे में। यहाँ पे अगर देखा जाए, आपको वार्षिक परीक्षा के प्रारूप में आपको व्याकरण का एक भी क्वेश्चन, एक भी सवाल नहीं दिखाई देगा। यहाँ पे है अपठित अवबोधनम अर्थात अनसीन पैसेज, जहाँ पे एक पदेन उत्तर है। एक पदेन उत्तर है अर्थात 1 वर्ड आंसर। बच्चे यहाँ पे करते क्या है, फुल सेंटेंस में आंसर लिख डालते हैं। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं करना है। जो सही उचित आंसर है 1 वर्ड में ही लिखना है। उसके बाद पूर्ण वाक्य न उत्तर है, फुल सेंटेंस में आंसर है। अवबोधनात्मक कार्य, कुछ ग्रामर के क्वेश्चन या सवाल पूछे जाएंगे जिसकी उचित जानकारी या उचित लेखन उनको करना आवश्यक है। अनुच्छेद लेखन में बहुत अहम सवाल जो रहता है वो है शीर्षक लेखन का, अर्थात टाइटल राइटिंग। बच्चे पूरा पैराग्राफ पढ़ते नहीं है, सिर्फ उसमें से कोई वर्ड चुन लेते हैं और उस वर्ड को लिख डालते हैं। ऐसा बिल्कुल करना नहीं है। पूरा पैराग्राफ पढ़ना आवश्यक है। पूरे पैराग्राफ पढ़ने के बाद उनको समझ में आता है कि ये पैराग्राफ, पर्टिकुलर पैराग्राफ किस चीज के, किस विषय के बारे में है, और उसके अनुसार उचित शीर्षक लेखन लिखना आवश्यक है। शीर्षक लेखन लिखते वक्त ग्रामर मिस्टेक्स अर्थात व्याकरण को सही तरीके से लिखना है, व्याकरण की मिस्टेक्स अवॉइड करनी है, वहाँ पे ठीक से पढ़ के लिखना है। शीर्षक लेखन लिखते वक्त 1 या 2 से ज़्यादा 3 वर्ड्स में ही लिखना है, सेंटेंस में लिखना नहीं है। उसके बाद देख लेते हैं रचनात्मक कार्य की तरफ। रचनात्मक कार्य में है हमें पत्र लेखनम, चित्रवर्णनम। चित्रवर्णनम में पिक्चर आ जाएगा और कुछ मंजूषा में शब्द दिए जाएंगे, उसके आधारित 5 या 6 सेंटेंस उन्हें संस्कृत में लिखने हैं। यदि पिक्चर या वो चित्र क्लियर नहीं है, ठीक से समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है, नहीं समझ में आता चित्र या वो वर्ड समझ में नहीं आते, तो बच्चे के लिए दूसरा ऑप्शन है वो है अनुच्छेद लेखनम। अनुच्छेद लेखनम अर्थात दिए गए मंजूषा में कुछ वर्ड्स रहेंगे, जैसे परोपकारी, वृक्षाः या फिर दीपावली, ऐसे कुछ टॉपिक्स आएंगे जिसके ऊपर मंजूषा दी जाएगी और उसके अनुसार बच्चे यहाँ पे सेंटेंस 5 या 6 संस्कृत में लिख सकते हैं। अहम सवाल है संस्कृत भाषायाम अनुवादः। यहाँ पे हिंदी तथा अंग्रेजी भाषा में, इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में सेंटेंसेस दिए जाएंगे जिसका उचित संस्कृत अनुवाद आवश्यक है, जहाँ पे एक वचन, द्विवचन, बहुवचन, विभक्ति, लकार, इन सभी की जानकारी अच्छी तरह से होनी चाहिए। जो हमने कक्षा 5वीं से आज तक पढ़ा है उन सभी का सार इस संस्कृत भाषायाम अनुवाद में आता है। उसके बाद टेक्सचुअल पार्ट की तरफ बढ़ते हैं, पठित अवबोधनम। यहाँ इस सेकेंड टर्म में आपको गद्यांश, पद्यांश और नाट्यांश पूछे जाएंगे. गद्यांश के आधारित एक पदेन पूर्ण वाक्य ने उत्तर है, सेम फॉर पद्यांश एंड सेम फॉर नाट्यांश. इतने ही सवाल पूछे जाएंगे. उसके बाद है अन्वय, अर्थात अन्वय लेखन, फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स दिए जाएंगे और भावार्थ लेखन. बच्चों को चयन करने के लिए दोनों ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है. दोनों में से किसी का भी चयन कर सकते हैं या दोनों लिख सकते हैं. लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट क्वेश्चन है घटना क्रमानुसार कथा लेखनम. जैसे मैंने पहले ही कहा है कि वहाँ पे दो ही लेसन है. एक है सौहार्दम प्रकृते है शोभा और दूसरा विचित्र साक्षी. दो लेसन को यदि ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे, शेमुश टेक्स्ट बुक का अच्छी तरह से अभ्यास करेंगे और उस कथाक्रम का निर्माण किस तरह है वह ठीक से जानकारी लेंगे और थोड़े से पेपर सॉल्व करेंगे तो ये सवाल कठिन नहीं होता. हाँ, ये सवाल लिखते वक्त एक बात का ध्यान रखना है. बच्चे बहुत बार करते क्या है कि सेंटेंस लिखना नहीं चाहते. वो पहला वर्ड लिखते हैं, फिर डैश 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 देके दूसरा लास्ट वाला वर्ड लिखते हैं. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. पूर्ण सेंटेंस अकॉर्डिंग टू क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर लिखना आवश्यक है. उसके बाद ही पूर्ण मार्क मिलने की क्षमता है. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं स्टडी टिप्स की तरफ. प्रश्न निर्माणम, जैसे मैंने पहले ही कहा, पूर्ण वाक्येन उचितम उत्तरम आवश्यकम. हालांकि यहाँ पे एमसीक्यू टाइप नंबर्स होंगे, मीन्स कुछ प्रोनाउंस दिए जाएंगे, लेकिन हाँ क्या है, हम इंग्लिश में पूछते हैं व्हाट, व्हेन, वेयर, नहीं, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता कि ये सवाल क्या है. वैसे ही किम, कथम, कस्मै, किमर्थम ऐसे बोल के सवाल नहीं मिलता. इसीलिए पूर्ण सेंटेंस में उत्तर लिखना और क्वेश्चन मार्क होना आवश्यक है. दूसरा है अपठित अवबोधनम. जैसे मैंने कहा कि शीर्षक लेखन लिखते वक्त व्याकरण की जानकारी आवश्यक है. रचनात्मक लेखन में मैंने पहले ही आपको एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है. और घटनाक्रम पूर्ण वाक्येन उचित उत्तरम आवश्यकम अस्ति. पेपर लिखते वक्त कुछ अहम जानकारी रखनी आवश्यक है. आंसर शुड बी रिटन इन सीक्वेंस ऑफ सेक्शंस गिवन. जहाँ से आपका सेक्शन, जो क्वेश्चन आप स्टार्ट करते हो, फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल अगर यदि आप अपठित अवबोधनम स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो अपठित अवबोधनम के सारे क्वेश्चन एक के बाद एक लिखने हैं. उसके बाद ही आप लोग रचनात्मक लेखन की तरफ बढ़ेंगे. जैसे जो ऑर्डर है, यानी पत्र लेखन पहले है तो पहले पत्र लेखन, फिर चित्रवर्णन, फिर अनुवाद, ऐसे ही आगे बढ़ना है. और फिर पठित अवबोधनम. बीच में ही एक दूसरे सेक्शन के साथ मर्ज नहीं करना. Daily devote some time for self study. It is must. Self study is must. जब हम खुद से पढ़ाई करते हैं, जब हम खुद को ही पढ़ाने शुरू करते हैं, तब हमें ज्यादा जानकारी मिलती है. This is my personal experience and you all must have experienced it. शेमुशी टेक्स्ट बुक का अध्ययन, पठन नित्य करना आवश्यक है. Students should write legibly and neatly. लिखते वक्त देवनागरी फॉन्ट की ज्यादा उनको प्रैक्टिस नहीं होती. देवनागरी फॉन्ट मराठी, हिंदी और संस्कृत में पाया जाता है. प्रैक्टिस करनी आवश्यक है. वैसे अगर किसी की हैंडराइटिंग साइज, फॉन्ट साइज बड़ी है तो उनको एक एक लाइन छोड़ के आंसर्स लिखने हैं, ऐसी मैं सलाह दूंगी. क्योंकि होता क्या है, संस्कृत में कुछ हलंते शब्द रहते हैं, यानी त का हाफ पाई टूट जाता है और वहाँ पे एक ही मात्रा आती है. तो एक दूसरे के साथ मर्ज होने के बाद समझ में नहीं आता कि ये एक ही मात्रा लिखना चाहते हैं या हलंत लिखना चाहते हैं. तो वहाँ पे इस बात की जानकारी रखना आवश्यक है. एक एक लाइन छोड़ के आंसर्स लिखना आवश्यक है. उसके बाद बहुत सारे फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स रहते हैं संस्कृत भाषा के पेपर में, तो वहाँ पे बच्चे बहुत बार कलर पेंसिल्स का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. वो बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. कलर पेंसिल्स यानी रेड कलर, ग्रीन कलर, प्लीज अवॉइड दिस कलर पेंसिल्स. प्लीज यूज ओनली एंड ओनली ब्लैक pencil. Answer sheet must be rechecked after completion of paper. Completion of paper होने के बाद बच्चे अधिक आत्मविश्वास से ऐसा हो जाता है कि बाबा हमें सब कुछ आता है, so just leave it. Who cares? But नहीं, ऐसे करना नहीं है. As a third person, twice, thrice, please recheck the answer sheet. Wherever you think this answer is wrong, that time do not overwrite it. बच्चे बहुत बार overwriting या scribbling करते हैं, वो नहीं करना है. Just put a dash to that answer, the answer again and leave it. आपको उसके ऊपर overwriting करनी नहीं है. Students should avoid silly mistakes. जैसे मैंने पहले ही कहा, कुछ शब्द होते हैं जिसके दो अर्थ होते हैं या मात्राओं की गलतियों की वजह से अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाता है। फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, छोटी ई की मात्रा वाला दिन, ह्रस्व दी, और बड़ी ई की मात्रा वाला दिन यानी दीर्घ दी। छोटी ई की मात्रा वाला दिन का अर्थ होता है DAY डे, और बड़ी ई की मात्रा वाला दिन का अर्थ रहता है पुअर। यदि मात्राओं की गलती हो गई तो अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाएगा। सो प्लीज अवॉइड these silly mistakes. And last but not the least, पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन। आपके व्यक्तित्व का आईना है वो पेपर जो आप लिखते हो। वो यदि सही तरीके से लिखा गया है तो आपकी पर्सनालिटी वहाँ पे झलकती है। अंत में मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि उद्यमेन हि सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथैः। कठोर परिश्रम से ही सभी कार्य सिद्ध होते हैं, सिर्फ सोचने भर से नहीं। आशा है कठिन परिश्रम से आपकी पूरी मनोकामना पूर्ण होगी। ऑल द बेस्ट। अपना और अपने परिवार का ख्याल रखिएगा। आपका दिन शुभ हो। मैथमेटिक्स विषय की जानकारी देने के लिए मैं मुनमुन मैम को आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Mathematicians just love to try unsolved problems. They love challenges. So mathematics is not about equations, numbers, computations. It is about understanding. With this line, I, Ms. Munmun Upadhyay, will orient about mathematics rationalized syllabus. The code for the standard mathematics is 041 and for mathematics basics is 241. Let us know more into the details about these two levels. These two levels of examination will be held in the subject of mathematics in the board examination for class 10 in the year 2020, and the same shall not be applicable to the internal assessment in class 10. First level would be the same as the existing one and the other would be an easier level. The nomenclature for the two examinations will be mathematics standard, which is the existing level, and the basic for the easier level of examination. Now the standard level will be meant for the students who wish to opt for mathematics at the higher level, senior secondary level, and the basic level would be for the students who is not keen to pursue mathematics at higher levels. Student will have the right to choose between these two levels of examination at the time of submission of the list of candidates by the affiliated school to the board online. In case students fail at any level of mathematics, he or she can appear at the compartment examination as per the norms of the board according to the options given below. The course structure for the first and the second term is as follows. We have from the unit number system, real numbers, which is for 6 marks. From algebra, we have 2 lessons, polynomials and pair of linear equations in 2 variables, which is for 10 marks. Coordinate geometry for 6 marks. From geometry unit, we have triangles in the first term, which is for 6 marks. Mensuration is areas related to circle for 4 marks. And from statistics and probability unit, we have probability for 3 marks. So total 40 marks, internal assessment is for 10 marks. The total together is 50 marks. Then in the second term, we have from the algebra unit, 2 lessons, quadratic equations and arithmetic progression, which is for 10 marks. From geometry here, we have 2 lessons, circles and constructions for 9 marks. Trigonometry, now this time we have the applications of trigonometry for 7 marks. From mensuration unit, we have surface area and volume for 6 marks and statistics for 8 marks. Again, the total is 40 marks, internal assessment for 10 marks and total is for 50. Certain guidelines for you all students. Presentation is very important. You all must draw the margins on both the sides. Draw a line after every answer and underline the important keywords or the points. Read the questions thoroughly before answering the MCQ questions and case study based questions. Daily self-study is very important. You all must read and solve your textbooks thoroughly. You must also adhere to the given deadlines for the submission of projects, notes, maths lab journal. Figures must be drawn wherever necessary. Attempt rough work on the right side of your answer sheet. Solve neatly. If a question attempted needs to be cancelled, you can make a single strike there. Students, you all must follow the sequence of questions while answering the assessment paper. Question numbers are very important. Leave one line after every question. Start new section from the new page. Underline or highlight the final answer, enclose it in a box. Time management is very important. So practice maths daily for at least 1 hour daily. All the best. Now I call upon Miss Els for science subject. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Munmun ma'am. Science as a subject plays a very important role in defining and developing the abilities in the cognitive, affective and psychomotor domain of students. It is an amalgamation of one's spirit of inquiry, creativity and objectivity. The present syllabus of CBSE provides a number of opportunities to observe, draw, analyze and derive conclusions. I, Miss Els, will brief you about science. The subject code of science is 086. The syllabus is divided into 2 terms. Each term will have the units, the chapters and the marks pertaining to the chapter. So please make a note of it. For term 1, under unit 1, chemical substances, nature and behavior, we have chemical reactions and equations, acids, bases and salts, metals and non-metals. These 3 chapters for 16 marks. Unit 2, world of living, life process is the chapter and the weightage is 10 marks. Unit 3, natural phenomena, light, reflection and refraction, human eye and colorful world. These 2 chapters for 14 marks. Moving on to term 2. Unit 1, chemical substances, nature and behavior. The chapters are carbon and its compounds, periodic classification of elements. These 2 chapters are for 10 marks. Unit 2, world of living. How do organisms reproduce? Heredity and evolution. These 2 chapters for 13 marks. Unit 4, effects of current. Electricity and magnetic effects of current. These 2 chapters are for 12 marks. And Unit 5, natural resources. Please make a note. Chapter 15, that is our environment, is for 5 marks. And Chapter 16, management of natural resources, is part of your portfolio. So this becomes the part of your internal assessment. We will be guiding our students during the conduction of this test. Now I would like to give you all certain guidelines. My guidelines would be more or less repetitive. Just like Munmun ma'am mentioned, there are few repetitions, but I would like to emphasize on the same again. Students should be thorough with the content of NCERT textbook. Many a times kids ask me that should I refer this book as reference, should I refer the other book? It's okay, you all can refer, but come back to your NCERT textbook. Read the questions carefully as one question may have many subparts. Each sub-question will have separate weightage. Even if it is for MCQ or the other subjective type of answering, you need to read the question thoroughly, give time and then answer. Do not miss any of the subpart. Answers should be supported by diagrams. Balance the chemical equations wherever required. Diagrams should be drawn and labeled with pencil. Diagrams should be proportionate and must carry a heading. Moving on. Labeling should be preferably straight towards with one side arrow, head pointing the diagram. Attempt the rough work on the same page in a neatly drawn rough column towards the right. It would be easy to copy the digits and check your work. If anything needs to be cancelled, just strike it off with a single line rather than scribbling and making your work untidy, because presentation matters. Do the questions in the serial order. Use the same serial number as given in the question paper. Please remember this. Do not irritate the evaluator, because they will have many papers to correct. So please follow the serial number given in the question paper. Underline the keywords. Always see to it that you put the final answer in a box. Few more guidelines. Yeah, leave on leave one line after every sub question, leave 2 lines after every main question, and if time permits, draw a line after every main answer. Start a new section on a new page. Students must be regular in their online classes. They should not miss any of the assignments given by the school, and they should adhere to the given submission date. Clear your doubts immediately, and daily self-study is important. Worksheets and corrected test papers must be filed according to the instructions given by teacher. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Now I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Pramila Tiwari.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alice ma'am. I'm here to orient you all about social science. The subject code is 087. Social science is a compulsory subject up to grade 10. It comprises of history, geography, political science, and economics. Now, as you all are aware, the academic year is divided into 2 terms, term 1 and term 2. Let us get into the details of term 1 and term 2. In term 1, we have from history, first chapter, Rise of Nationalism in Europe. From geography, we have first chapter, that is resources, and fourth chapter, that is agriculture. Chapter 2, water resources, was assessed for the periodic test 1. Political science, we have first and second chapter, that is power sharing and federalism respectively. From economics, we have development and sectors of Indian economy. Now, these chapters will be evaluated for the term 1 assessment examination. From history, we have 10 marks, geography 10, political science and economics equally 10-10. So marks are equally divided. So term 1 carries 40 marks for the examination. Now we come to term 2. In term 2, we have from history, second chapter, nationalism in India. We have the making of the global world for periodic assessment, periodic test 3. Then similarly in geography, from geography we have chapter number 5, mineral and energy resources for periodic test. Chapter 6 and 7, that is manufacturing industries and lifelines of national economy, would be assessed for the term 2 examination. Political science, we have chapter 6 and chapter 7, that is political parties and outcomes of democracy. Economics, we have chapter 3 and chapter 4, that is money and credit and globalization and the Indian economy. Again, in term 2, we have equal distribution of marks, 10 from history, 10 from geography, 10 from political science and 10 from economics, which comes to 40 marks for the final board examination, term 2 board examination. Now here are a few tips. I know I am repeating. It's again a repetition. As you all know, repetition is very, very essential. This is not just repeated now, but it will be repeated throughout the academic year by all the teachers. So please make a note of it. As already mentioned by all the teachers, guided by all the teachers, paper presentation is very, very important. Students must draw margins on both the sides, draw lines after the answer, underline the key words and the important words, points. Understand the concept well in social science. It is very essential that you understand the concept well in order to answer applicable based questions and also higher order thinking questions, especially in term 1 when you are appearing for your multiple choice questions. Daily self-study as guided by all the teachers and you all are aware, plus please do practice it well. Prepare your own timetable, follow the schedule, share it with your parents and ask them to follow it up. Students must read the textbook thoroughly. You do refer to reference book, but your final book that you need to follow is your textbook. Read the textbook, that is more than enough. Then students can write the answers in their own words. We have a very wrong notion saying that social science is all about mugging up, rote learning, rattofy. It's nothing like this. Children can write the answers on their own. However, it is very essential that children use the keywords and write the answer in points and not in paragraphs. Students must adhere to all the deadlines given by the teachers regarding the submission of notes, projects. Each and every submission is important. Notes, skill sheets, worksheets must be filed according to the instructions given by the teachers. As rightly said by Principal Ma'am, you should also maintain all the test papers that are there with you, which would be asked for submission. Students must follow the sequence of question while answering the assessment. It's not that I know some answer and I'll write it before it. No, you have to follow the proper sequence. Read the questions thoroughly before answering, especially the multiple choice question. And we come to the last point. Time management is very important, so practice well. Now, coming from something different that I would like to talk. Now, this pandemic has taught all of us the importance of health. So children, please eat healthy and stay fit. And at the same time, we also know that emotional health is equally important. Students, please, my humble request to all the kids, please talk to your friends. Make it a point to talk to your friends, talk to your parents, share your problems, share your daily routine with them. Parents, try to understand your kids. They are in their teens. They too are going through a tough time. This is a special time, special batch. So we need to give special attention to them. Here we come to the end of the session. Thus I conclude quoting Abraham Lincoln, the best way to predict your future is to create it. So push harder than yesterday if you want a better tomorrow. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Now I request Ms. Madhuri Falke to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramila ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all present here. No one who achieves success does so without acknowledging the help of others. The wise and confident acknowledge this help with gratitude. So, with deep satisfaction, we conclude today's orientation program, and I, Mrs. Madhuri Falke, feel privileged to propose a vote of thanks. I thank our management for their continuous support. My sincere gratitude to our principal ma'am, Mrs. Mona Lisa Basu. Ma'am, thank you for your continuous support, guidance, and invaluable advice. My deep sense of appreciation to all the parents for turning up in such a good numbers, and I hope today's orientation was able to provide you with some valuable insight into your child's progress. My heartfelt thanks to all my colleagues for making this session a grand success. A big thank you to our technical team for their help. Last but not the least, I appreciate students' participation for the session. We are sure, students, the tips you gained here that would help you to excel in upcoming board examination. Thank you one and all. Have a great weekend ahead. Stay home, stay safe.